The BBC today has reported stories about the DWP, that's the Work and Pensions Department, claiming back overpaid allowances that have been made to carers. I drew attention to this the other day when I compared the punishment of George Harrison, who was dragged through the courts and rendered homeless for 30 pence. And the contrast that I made then with Nadhim Zahawi, who is now off to run Littlewoods, I was going to say to mow the lawns at Littlewoods, after a very cushy time getting to the top of the greasy pole of politics, playing the role of Chancellor of the Exchequer, controlling our money, and recognising belatedly that he hadn't paid his tax bill. He complained that he's had to pay $5 million. Well, that was what he had to pay. And he's lucky that he's still free. But he's not only free, he's doing well. A refugee who made good with a cosy nest egg and room for looking after the stables that house his horse collection. But we knew in 2019 that carers were being threatened. They were told that they could be heavily penalised for making honest mistakes. Well, if it's an honest mistake, why are they being penalised? The honest mistakes are inherent in the system, which is confusing. Not so senior ministers or friends of Matt Hancock. For example, Baroness Moon has gone silent again, you might note. Baroness Moon. And no efforts are being made to claw back the money taken by these bigwigs. No, it seems that spurred on by the Labour announcement of plans to recoup money erroneously paid or mistakenly taken, the Conservative government is fixated on a spiteful programme of punishing the poor and blames the DUP indifference, the past DUP indifference to staff shortages and problems with its systems, not unlike a blame that you might have heard about Horizon Software and the post office, or losing documents because Mrs. May had a clean out in the Home Office when she was instituting her hostile environment, and the Windrush people got caught up in that. Unpaid carers, therefore, are now trapped en masse for the return of £250 million because many of them were unwittingly overpaid their meagre allowance, and they are now on a thing called an enhanced notification strategy. So as far as I can see it, they are allowed £81.90 per week. But this is invalidated if the carer earns more than £151 per week, even if it's only by a few pence. And even if they are unaware that they have exceeded the arbitrary threshold. And that threshold is placed not on the money that you actually earn, but the money that you take home after tax. And that can sometimes be very difficult to ascertain, particularly if, for example, somebody is self-employed. The DUP has already been accused, it was accused in 2019, of bullying and harassing people for failures that it has made in a confusing system and lorded over by a chaotic management that is transferring the blame from the twits who are managing to the victims who are already working their backsides off looking after their relatives and their friends who would otherwise need to rely on the state. They are doing the state a service, and they're now being penalized for that. It is abhorrent, it is wrong, and it is spiteful. And, if it's a sign of what is to come, that is bad.